Starting to get a little nautical out here. Hey guys, welcome back to Sailing Fujin. My name is Trevor and we are here today on Catalina Island in Avalon Harbor. Today we're finally going to be doing what I've been trying to do for the last couple months, and that is scrubbing the bottom of this boat. It is way overdue, so we're just going to get in the water and start scrubbing that bottom. For Christmas, my dad got me this special bucket. It's called the Battlewagon Bucket, and it's made by Top Shelf Marine Products. This guy in Florida owns this place, and it's actually pretty good. I know a couple professional cleaners, bottom cleaners, who use this same product, and it comes with all kinds of stuff. It comes with a just a regular like car wash mitten for like just like the side of your hull, and then like when you get down to the bottom, they got different I guess like different grits of material on these mitts. So you put on these mitts and you just scrub the bottom with your hand, which makes it pretty easy. They have this little tool which is like supposed to like help clean your prop shaft and get inside whatever it is, the cutlass bearing, kind of make sure there's no growth in between like the shaft and the cutlass bearing. So you got that tool. A scrub brush, comes with a nice scrub brush, and then here's a little bit more abrasive of a mitt. I probably won't use this one. I'm probably just going to be using the second one. But yeah, we're going to give all these things a go around. Some of them a go around today, and let's hop on in. The Battlewagon Bucket comes equipped with 3 mitts. I started the job off with the red mitt since it was the least abrasive. The other 2 mitts were basically 2 different grits of Scotch-Brite pads and were far too abrasive to clean the bottom, so I didn't even try them out. If I used them, they would end up taking off a lot of bottom paint, so I left them in the bucket. The red mitt was taking off the growth fairly easily, but I think it was taking off a little bottom paint as well. You could tell it is taking off paint when you see a big plume of red. I was told if you see plumes or clouds of paint when scrubbing, you should use a less abrasive pad or scrub less hard, so I tried being as gentle as possible. The next item on the list to test out was the combo scrub brush and scraper. I tried scraping off some hard growth on the propeller with the scraper, but it didn't really form to the shape of the prop and it made it a little difficult. I feel like the scraper tool would work better on larger and more flat metallic surfaces. The scrub brush bristles were also a little too harsh to be scrubbing the bottom paint with. The next tool up in the testing list is called the Dirty Bird Hole Scraper. This worked out a lot better at getting hard growth off the propeller and propeller shaft. The scraper has sort of a hook shape that forms into a point, which is good for cleaning around the cutlass bearing. Unfortunately, I never got around to testing it out on the bearing. I think the big thing to take away from cleaning the bottom today is that it is a lot more difficult to clean the bottom on breath hold than I thought. To do a more thorough job and actually give these tools a real quality test, I'm going to need an air tank. Oh, well guys, it's the next day here in beautiful Avalon. Had a nice night out here in the mooring field. Fortunately, I never got the engine on the dinghy because the starboard air chamber is completely compromised. That thing won't be taking air anytime soon. There's a major gaping hole in the the back end of it. So that's going to be another repair job up in my storage unit, aka my bedroom. That'll be a fun project. You know, you fix one chamber, the other one pops. After all that work with the dinghy engine, and we didn't even get to use it this weekend. It's okay though, I had a good time rowing myself around. Little exercise, can't complain. So yeah, we're gonna start heading back pretty quick here. I gotta be out of here by 0900. It's about 8 o'clock right now. And you know, this big storm's gonna start hitting around 1400, 1600 today. So as long as we get back before then, it'll be all good and dandy. All right, so yeah, we'll start getting ready for sea here momentarily. Okay, so we're about an hour into our trip here and the wind is starting to pick up a little bit. I've already put up the mainsail, but I think we'll throw out the jib, see what kind of speed we can make here. I was running the boat at full canvas for a good hour before the wind started to really pick up. Eventually, I was starting to see 15 knot sustained winds with gusts from 20 to 25, and the autopilot began struggling to steer. I have a very simple autopilot system which uses a belt around the steering wheel and around a driving motor. If the boat starts experiencing the slightest weather helm, the belt starts to lose friction and the autopilot fails to steer a heading. It was at this point I decided it was time to reef the sails. I started reefing the foresail first, and it was there I ran into trouble. I couldn't get the jib sail to furl in as much as I wanted because the furling line was buried on the furler drum. At the time I wasn't sure how to unbury it in the certain situation I was in, so I decided I had furled it enough anyway. Next it was on to reef the mainsail. I kept the foresail trimmed and let the mainsail luff so I could keep our headway while reefing the main. None of my reefing lines or halyards run to the cockpit, so I am forced to do everything at the mast. I had practiced reefing at the dock, but this was the first time I had reefed sails in a real situation. Everything went smoothly, but unfortunately the battery in the camera died halfway through the reefing process right about here. But after successfully reducing canvas on the foresail and mainsail, the boat became balanced again. The autopilot was doing a fantastic job of steering, and we were moving at a good clip of 6.5 knots. Not too bad, I'd say. Starting to get a little nautical out here. Starting to see some whitecaps again, after a little lull. About 6 knots, average of 6 knots. I think we'd be doing a lot more if this dinghy wasn't all fucked. That starboard pontoon is really causing us to have a lot of drag. I mean, it's probably slowing us down at least a whole knot, maybe a half a knot. ETA saying 130. Nice beam reach right now. Nice comfortable beam reach. The autopilot's doing pretty good steering with our reef in, our main, and our jib. Life is good so far. to get a latch for this thing. This keeps happening over and over again. Anytime we get into anything over 15 knots, this bridge just decides to spill everything out of it. It was a delightful sail the rest of the way home. The wind was right on the beam, and the boat was handling the conditions like a dream. Just before entering Los Angeles Gate, I furled in the jib entirely. I was able to get the furling line unburied by keeping the furling line tensioned as I unfurled the jib completely. Once inside the breakwater, I shook out the reef in the mainsail and headed into the marina. It felt good to know I could reef the sails on my own in a real high wind situation, and now I even know how to deal with a buried furling line. Every time I take the boat out, I learn something new, and that is kind of what this is all about. Hey everybody, I'm back down here in the marina. It's been a couple days since we got back from Avalon, and the storm has mostly passed, and it has left a little bit of destruction in its wake, including my canvas covering my cockpit. It is pretty much completely destroyed, and I kind of knew that was going to happen. I've been planning on getting a new Dodger and a Bimini soon, so this is more of just encouragement to get that project going. So I'm not too concerned of it. Other owners of other vessels in the marina have fared a lot worse, from their jibs and their mainsails being completely torn open to some people's canvas, very expensive canvas, being destroyed completely. So this is far less of a big deal than it looks like. Right now I'm just going to go ahead and break down this damage that's right here, and I'm going to store it in my cabin until further notice. But the canvas cover was not the only damage we received during this last week's mission. As pointed out earlier in the episode, our dinghy had a little bit of trouble holding air. Not a little bit of trouble, actually a lot. So when we got back to the dock, we discovered a gaping hole in the starboard chamber. So now not only do we have a leak in the port chamber, we have one in the starboard chamber, and this one is just not repairable. It is about a 3-inch gap, and the whole thing filled with water. And yeah, it's just not something that can be repaired, so I put it out in the front of the building, called the Waste Management Services, and they picked it up and took it straight to the dump. But we have some exciting news to go along with that. All of last week, I have been looking on Craigslist for a scorching deal for a new dinghy, and boy did we find one. Feast your eyes on the newest tender for our small little Catalina 30. This is our Nordic 10-foot, and boy is she a looker. Actually, she's not a looker at all. It actually is pretty ugly as shit. But, you know, for $250, you can't really beat it. So, yeah, I've had her in here for about 3 days, blown up, and she's holding air pretty well. When I first got it, there was actually a small minor leak I found in this port chamber, and I repaired that with some glue, and ever since then she's been holding the air really nicely. So I think she's going to do well for a while until we upgrade, which probably won't be for like a long time, because these are expensive. Yeah, you could tell she's got some cosmetic imperfections. These little gadgets that hold on the oars and a couple other things are glued on here very strangely, and yeah, not very cosmetically appealing here. But, you know, it'll do the job for now, and that's all that matters. So thanks again for watching, guys. That's going to be it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please give us a like, and we'll see you all next Sunday.